Hello, my name's Bridget, and today we're looking at healthy green homes and the science of building. So thank you for taking some of your valuable time to be here for this talk today. I appreciate that you're here, and I promise that you'll learn some interesting new information that you can apply to your home, and you'll be happy that you decided to come along to this talk. So let's get into this. This talk's a crash course on what it takes to be a green home. So basically, in the next 20 minutes, we'll cover what it takes to make your home warmer in winter and cooler in summer, and at the same time, reduce your energy bills and add value to your home. So if this is what you'd like to know about, then you're in the right place. So I'll talk for about 20 minutes, and at the end, there'll be time for Q&A. So we all know about climate change. It's real. In the UK, they're having heat waves temperatures of 39 degrees Celsius, and they don't know how to cope with this sort of temperature. We hear about people dying from heat stroke, how hundreds of people die because of the temperature, and studies have found that people are dying from cold weather. Not from freezing to death, but the chances of you dying from a stroke or heart or lung disease increases when temperatures are 16 degrees and below. So it's important to know that and to make sure that your home and the homes of your loved ones are warmer than this. And now we're hearing that cities are running out of water. Not remote outback towns like Cook on the Nullarbor, but cities of 9 million people or more, like Chennai and Delhi in India, Cape Town in South Africa, and the largest city in Brazil, Sao Paulo. And here in Australia, towns in New South Wales are running out of water, in Tamworth and Orange. And recently, climate change was blamed for causing a mudslide that stopped the Tour de France in its tracks. So whether you believe it's climate change or not, it doesn't matter. What's clear is the weather is changing and it's becoming more extreme. We read about this in the news just about every day. Plainly, we need to adapt, and building better housing is one way of dealing with this. At the same time, our energy systems are struggling to keep up. They face higher demand than what they can supply. So this is worldwide as well as here in Melbourne. So electricity companies have no choice but to have rolling blackouts. Our summers are getting longer and hotter, so the electricity companies are load shedding to cope with the demand. And there'll be more blackouts as they struggle to meet the demand. This is what we can expect, and this is our reality. And what is less reported in the news is that are power outages. When there's no power, we've seen power outages in some of the major cities of the world. In fact, in 2003, I was in New York City the day they lost power. Power went out along the eastern border of the United States. It started in Canada, and one by one, these mega cities had their power knocked out, and it worked its way through the east coast of America until they disconnected the grid in Philadelphia. It took 2 days before the power was back, and it could have blacked out the whole of America except for that one person that was in the control room in Philadelphia. So what I took out of this experience was how people banded together. I was across the river in Queens waiting for a train that was never going to arrive. And I walked back into New York City that day while thousands of people walked out. There were people on respirators in Central Park praying for the power to come back on. Taxis had pulled over with their drivers listening to their radios. There were Black Hawk helicopters hovering around. Nobody knew what was going on. People would have died that night because there was no power. And you would have thought that New York City would have turned into one big riot. A few buildings caught fire from candles, but that was about it. So there's even more reason to want to make your home an energy efficient and water efficient home. So I'm going to talk about some easy measures you can make to your homes to make them more comfortable to live in and to lower your energy bills at the same time. So here's why you need to know what I know. I'm not just an architect. I've trained in energy efficient homes, and I'm licensed to rate houses for their Energy Stars. I've trained in the German method of passive house, which is about making houses highly energy efficient and airtight. I've studied environmental and energy studies of buildings at the University of East London, and I have a Masters of Science in Architecture in Advanced Environmental and Energy Studies. The number one thing that I want you to know is that I'm still designing houses, and all the houses I've designed require very little heating or cooling. So everything that I teach you works right now for houses today. It's very important to be aware of that. There are secrets to designing a home that responds to the climate. I'm talking about secrets that mean that you can have a home that's warm in winter and cool in summer. There's a science to designing houses so that your home is comfortable all year round with low or zero energy bills. That's what I do, and that's what I can share with you today. So are you doing things the hard way? It's an important question to ask yourself. So is your home too hot in summer that you have to run your air conditioner for most of summer and it's still not comfortable? And in winter, is your home cold? And do you find that you have to run your heater for most of winter and you still feel cold? And do you find that your energy bills are just going up, that they just keep getting bigger? So I've heard lots of stories from people coming from cold climates like Norway and Sweden, and they find that despite our temperate climates here in Melbourne, our houses are really cold to live in, and that in their cold climate countries, they're much more comfortable in their homes than what they are here. So the good news is that it doesn't have to be this way. You can have a home that has low or zero energy bills and it's comfortable to live in all year round, ensuring you against climate change. So let me tell you about the easy way. Let me tell you about Colin and Libby's home. Colin and Libby's home stayed comfortable all year round, comfortable in winter and in summer. So how did they do this? Well, let me tell you how. Here you see Libby with her dog on her farm in Gippsland. Libby and her partner Colin decided to retire on a farm. Libby worked as an environmental officer and wanted a sustainable home. Colin's an electronics engineer and he was skeptical about energy efficient and sustainable homes. He wasn't convinced that they worked very well. That's when they got me to help them with their home design. So their dream home was a straw bale home with a worm farm composting system, independent of the power grid, with their own water supply. When their home was finished, Colin said with some amazement, "So it seems a well-designed and well-built house does indeed provide good thermal performance without any further energy input than the sun, wind and ceiling fans." So this system is simple, but it works. You get the system right, you get the results. Now, how can you make your home comfortable, both in winter and in summer, without air conditioning or a lot of heating? And do this with low energy bills. The beauty of this little known secret is that it makes sense. It's simple and straightforward, and it's easy to do if you know how. If you follow these steps, then you'll notice a difference in your own home and your energy bills. So how do you do this? So this is Colin and Libby's house structure before they went to work to transform it into their dream home. You can see a whole lot of poles and a rundown roof, and this is what Colin and Libby wanted to use for their dream home. So they transformed their structure into a beautiful, comfortable home that stayed warm in winter and cool in summer. Here you can see their kitchen and living rooms. They got rid of the poles they didn't need and they kept the ones they wanted. They had a concrete slab poured for the floor of their new home, and they transformed their existing house structure into their ultimate dream home. So you might think that's the end of the story. But Colin, being the skeptic and an engineer, decided to put both of these to work on his new home. Colin wanted to know more. He wanted to know how energy efficient his home was. So he set up data loggers so he could record the air temperatures inside and outside his new home. And this is what Colin found with his data loggers. And this is why I say that your home can be comfortable in winter and in summer without high energy bills. On the graph, you can see that the temperature is measured on the left side. Each of the curves on the blue and red lines indicate one day. It shows the coldest part of the day at the low point and the hottest part of the day at the top of each curve. So each squiggle on the line represents one day. You'll see that the orange band in the middle is what's called the comfort zone. This is between 20 and 25 degrees Celsius. This is where most people feel comfortable. So everyone has a different idea of what's comfortable. You might be happiest around 22 degrees Celsius, whereas someone else might find they want it to be warmer, say 25 degrees Celsius, and so on. The blue line is what Colin measured his indoor air temperature to be inside his new home. When Colin set up his data loggers, he set one inside his house and one outside. The blue line is the air temperature inside their home. The red line is the air temperatures outside. So you'll notice that inside their home, air temperatures are recorded as mostly in that orange zone, mostly in the comfort zone, without the big temperature swings that you see outside, making this a comfortable home to live in. So you remember what we're talking about here, how you can make your home comfortable in winter and in summer. So here's how you can do it, the simple way. You shade your home from the summer sun. You stop the heat from coming into your home because heat will get trapped. It's like the greenhouse effect, or like when you're in a car with the windows closed on a hot day. Heat gets trapped inside, and you exhaust the hot air out of your home. So hot air rises. If you've got high windows that you can open, you can get rid of this hot air. This way heat doesn't build up in your home. And you allow for nighttime cooling when air temperatures drop at night. If you open up your windows at night, then you can let the cool air in and cool down your home. And you have north-facing windows to let the winter sun to come into your home. This will allow the heat from the sun in winter to warm up your home. So how does this apply to you? Well, let me show you how. Say your home is in a climate like Colin Libby's dream home, that it's hot in summer and it's cold in winter. You plan for the sun path for both winter and summer. Then what you want to do is make sure you allow for the winter sun to come into your home. At the same time, you want to shade for the summer sun. These simple actions make a big difference to how hot and uncomfortable your home will be in summer and how cold and uncomfortable your home will be in winter. What you need to know is that you can design your home for when the sun is lower in the sky in winter and in summer when the sun is high overhead. So you can let the winter sun come streaming into your living areas when you want it. And at the same time, you can block the sun in summer with sun shading and stop the sun before it comes into your home. It's really that simple, along with insulating your home and sealing off any gaps and cracks in the floors, walls and ceilings of your home. And if you've got some way of storing the heat from the sun, you can use it when you need it. So if you've got a concrete slab, you can use the winter sun to warm up your slab. And your slab will store the sun's heat. So when the sun goes down, the heat in the floor is released and it keeps your home warm and cozy. This way of storing heat from the sun works both in winter and in summer. So you need some thermal mass inside your home. If you do this, then your home will be warmer in winter and cooler in summer for free from the sun, without having to run a heater all winter or air conditioner all of summer. The end result is that you'll have a comfortable home to live in with low energy bills. So to understand thermal mass a bit more, think of a black mass lying next to a window. Say a black cat lying in the sun next to a window. The cat's body absorbs the heat from the sun as the sun streams through the window, and when the cat comes and sits on your lap, the warm body of the cat transfers heat to you. It works in the same way as thermal mass, a simple way of heat transfer. So for Colin and Libby, their thermal mass was a polished concrete floor. So Colin enthusiastically sent me these images of his home, showing how far the winter sun reached into his home to warm up his concrete floor. And he also sent me these pictures, showing you how well his windows were shaded in summer. So you can see here the north face of Colin and Libby's home. You can see their windows are in full shade, and this shade comes from the shading from their roof eaves. There's no direct sunlight coming into their home because of the shade from their eaves, keeping their home cooler in summer. In winter, the thermal mass in their polished concrete floor absorbs the heat from the sun and releases it when indoor air is cooler. And in summer, it absorbs the heat, and when it cools down outside, you open up your windows to let the heat out. It's really that simple. It's incredible when you know how. With climate change, the one thing we can be sure about is the sun path. In summer in Melbourne, the sun is at the highest in the sky at around 75 degrees. In winter, the sun is lower in the sky at around 29 degrees. So this is a 3D model of the sun path in Melbourne, made by the renowned Dr. Andrew Marsh, and I'll play this short video to explain what you're looking at. So what you see here is a model showing buildings in the middle, and you've got north in front of you, south behind, east and west to the sides. And the yellow area here is showing you the sun path. So the line in front, the yellow line, is the sun path for winter. The line behind is the sun path for summer. And what we're looking at here is the sun. The red ball represents the sun for 12 o'clock for the longest day of the year, 22nd of December. The sun rises more towards the south of east, and then it travels high above the buildings. So the sun at midday is shining down onto the tops of the buildings, and then it sets more towards the south in the southwest. And this is a similar model that's showing the sun path for winter. So for the shortest day of the year, 22nd of June. So the sun rises more towards the north, and it stays low in the sky. So it's shining more directly to the face of the buildings, and it sets more towards the north. So this explains how Colin could use the sun in winter, knowing that the sun was low in the sky, to get the sun to come more into his living areas to warm up his thermal mass in his concrete slab. And also it shows how in summer, knowing that the sun was high overhead, that Colin could use the roof eaves to shade the north windows of his home. Okay, so knowing how the sun travels in the sky for Melbourne allows you to design a warm home in winter and a cool home in summer. Like Colin and Libby's home in Gippsland, with zero water and energy bills. Now here's a real opportunity that I see for you. You too can have a home that you know is healthy to live in, a home that's warm in winter and cool in summer, a home that has low energy bills. And the good news is that it's not about that you don't know what to do and it's all too hard. Now you know what you need to do to make your home a comfortable home to live in with low energy bills, warm in winter and cool in summer. So I hope you've learnt more about how you can make your home warmer in winter and cooler in summer, and at the same time reduce your energy bills. So thank you for listening to me today. My name's Bridget Puszka, and if you'd like to learn more about how you can make your home warmer in winter and cooler in summer with low energy bills, you can go to smartrenovators.com.au and watch my masterclass. So now it's my turn to ask you, what's most important to you in your home, and what are your biggest challenges?